Thursday, PA Bo came in again, wondered if I had any output yet. I'm like, well, no, but I've just had just water and IV fluid, so would I have output? So I was kind of like, well, okay, they would check up on me a little later. And so Dr. Myers came in a little bit later, and then she said, do I have any output? I'm like, no, but you put me on just water and ice chips. And she's like, okay, she was going to up me to clear liquids, and we'll go from there. So I had some chicken broth and some Jell-O for lunch. The doctor came in and okayed me to be able to have a clear liquid diet, so I can have some broth and Jell-O and juice. So that's what I chose for today's lunch. I have some chicken broth, some orange Jell-O, and some grape juice. So we'll see how much of this I get down, because I'm just going to go slowly, and we'll see how well it sits. So I had I was like taking some spoonfuls of that. I'm like, I'm having more air than I am, like as far as food. Because she also didn't want me to drink out of straws or have any carbonation. Again, to keep the air stuff down, keep the gas down. So I drank a little bit of the chicken broth, and that went well. And I had half the Jell-O. And as I was even eating the Jell-O, I'm like, it was hurting. It felt like I had a big chunk of something go down, like I didn't chew. I'm like, it's Jell-O. I'm putting it in my mouth and I'm swishing it like it's watery. And how am I having this chunk? And then I have a sip of the broth, and it was the same. I had like this chunk. I'm like, all right, took a sip of water. I had this chunk. I'm like, okay, it's my throat hurting. I thought, okay, well, maybe it's a signal too that that's enough for my first meal. I had about a quarter of the broth. I had half a Jell-O. We'll let that go and see how it passes through and everything. And then by dinner time, I just ordered vegetable broth, and I drank it as opposed to a spoonful, and I got that all down. So that was nice. Yeah, so that was about it for Thursday. I think because I could talk, I may have started making videos that day. And I took a couple pictures of my food and all that stuff. But Friday, I actually had stool in my bag at like 5 a.m. I think at 3 a.m. I went to the bathroom, and there was like just a little bottom layer. And I went, well, okay, whatever. By 5 a.m. I went, and I had like 125 milliliters or whatever in there. I had some stools, so again, that was so exciting. Every time the doctors were coming in, or something, they're like, did you pass anything yet? Did you pass anything? So another baby type, reference of everybody's waiting. It's like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? And so finally that next morning, I'm like, yeah, I had some output, yay. So, and then that was kind of about it. And I thought, well, again, I guess I'm fairly cleaned out from all that contrast that went through me. And that was all liquid. So whether that was broth that had come through at all or not, or again, how long that would take to get through. But, so I'd had that. So then my surgeon upped me to full liquid diet. So that included that now I could have some cereal if I wanted, or what else was that in there? Pudding, it's cream of wheat. So stuff like, so I ordered some cream of wheat because one of the nurses suggested that. I think it was yogurt, cream of wheat, or cream of rice. I think I had cream of rice last time, and I didn't really like it, but I also didn't put anything in there. And I had yogurt when I was in for this last, and I'm like, and that kind of seemed to do me for a loop. So I thought, no. So one of the nurses said she likes to have cream of wheat with brown sugar. So I ordered that, and it was actually really good. Normally, food comes up like within half an hour of when I order. If it's going to take longer than that, they usually say on the phone it'll take an hour and stuff, whatever. So I took my little 2 laps around the nurse's desks type of thing. Came in, then ordered the food. Should have done that back, opposite like I did yesterday. And I thought, well, I'll come sit in the chair so I get some sitting time in. And again, being upright, thought, okay, when the food comes, I'm trying to be upright, and then usually try and take a walk after I get my food. Again, help keep everything moving through. I sat here for an hour and a half, and I still didn't have any food. So I think the CNA came in, and I mentioned that, and she was all like, oh, let me check on that. And then, boom, boom, there it was. My lunch is here. Breakfast 11 o'clock. So I'm gonna eat. We're gonna see how this food goes down. So I will talk to you in a little while. So there it is. I ordered my cream of wheat, got my brown sugar, my honey, and then just in case I don't like it, I ordered some chocolate pudding. So I still have something to eat. Not that I can't order more food anytime, but just kind of find this funny. I'm like going to eat it, and I'm like, oh, it's like bouncing back. I'm like, I thought it was supposed to be, oatmeal-like. It's something. If it just sat here for too long. Oh, probably there's just a coating on top. Gonna mix it all up. All right, add some brown sugar. I don't really have 2 bowls. If I had 2 bowls, I could add some honey to one and brown sugar to another. I'm not really gonna try just 1 spoonful with trying to put some brown sugar on there. So, it's still a tad warm. I might have to have them heat it up a little bit more for me, but ugh. I can't go far enough away to see everything. There's my food. See what I think. That's not bad. Brown sugar gives it just enough sweetness to make it taste all right. Okay, see how much of this I eat. So I ate about half of that. And what else did I have? Oh, I ordered some pudding. So very nice, again, my size portion. It was a little clear cup, sofa, but I had that much pudding in there. And so I ate all the pudding, like I said, and like half the cream of wheat. And again, it was like I was starting to have the pain in the throat, so I stopped. And that was all right. So then later in the afternoon, the surgeon came in again and said, okay, well, seeing as I was able to eat that, she upped my diet to low fiber. So then I ordered some French toast for dinner. Thought about an egg, but then I saw the French toast, and I'm like, oh, French toast. There's my dinner. French toast and butter and syrup. Yummy. I already ate 1 piece. Went down okay. Still getting that sore throat. I feel a little, stuff in the side, but then I took a drink of water, and I have the same thing going on. So this food is doing the same. So I'm just taking it slow, making sure I'm chewing really well, and hope to get at least 1 little more, half of toast down. So that's it for now. So I had the French toast. I cut off the crust part of it and just ate the middle where it was soft and, with a little bit of syrup. Had 2 pieces of that, same. Throat was kind of bothering me, but I'm like, whatever. And then about an hour later, the food was still there, and I was a little hungry, so I'm like, I had a 3rd piece. In the meantime, I was taking lots of walks around the hospital, at least, 5 walks a day, 2 laps each. So a good 5-10 minute walk. So this is a nice little waiting area that they have. I like all the big windows, lets in lots of light. And on a clear day, you'd actually be able to see the whole city, which is really neat. Over in this area here, where's my finger? There, that's a little library, which is also nice. And then down that hallway is where my room is. A little library area that I mentioned. It's kind of cute. I have some books in here. Maybe this one here. Where's my camera? That one there. It's a mystery. It's turning around backwards. Ha ha ha. So here's the end of one hallway. Over on the other side from where I am. More windows. Nice pictures on the wall.
Oh, sorry.
Cross hallway.
Oh, what?
How are your people?
They're actually okay.
Are they watching you?
Are they being washed up?
Watching up?
Yeah, they actually are.
You might just see.
All of them refuse. That's how I was in here the other day, and they all said,
I know, that's what I'm getting stuck over now.
So here's where my husband comes and fills up my ice chips for me. So that's at the end of my hallway. I'm there across from the nurse's desk. And then this floor. Oh. This floor has the cute little pet posters too. Yeah. Somebody has a lizard. So cute. Whoop. And here I am. Here's my room. The bathroom door. So again, my throne, another work table. The bathroom. Look at that, it has a nice shower. I actually got to take a shower yesterday. It was so nice. Except I couldn't wash my hair. So that's still feeling icky. Like I say, that's my view of the city today. Not much to see. I'll put in some pictures of what you usually can see. Took a few of those. I've seen the whole city and very nice. It's a good room. Now I'll spend some quality time in the comfy chair. Get some sitting time in so I'm not in the bed. Except that the one blind is closed down a little bit. There's an actual view of the city. Not fog covered today. That was nice. It was good to get up and get around. That's to me. My husband was impressed that I look normal. That he's like, you know, you're walking fine. You're walking quickly. I said, yeah, and I'm more upright. I'm not hunched. He's like, yeah, you're not grabbing your stomach. You're not grimacing. He was, it's just so nice. It's been so long to see you normal. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, you know, if I didn't have this IV pole, I mean, I'm like, nobody would know I was sick. He's like, you know, you're right. That's true. So because I had increased my diet, I was having real food by Friday night. I didn't need the TPN anymore. So again, because it gets changed out at 10 p.m., they just like by 9 o'clock, I think the nurse took that off of me. So I was done with that. And then Saturday, I still didn't have any output, so I was a little disappointed because I'm like, you know, that would be a no-brainer. If I had output, yeah, send me home, I'm good. But because I didn't have anything, I'm like, okay, where's all this food that I've been putting in? You know, nothing's moving, nothing's coming out, so I'm a little worried. Oh, that video, so close to me. Anyways, hi, Jenny here. I guess I didn't end the video yesterday at all, but I'll probably string all these together. Today is Saturday, January 27th, and it's 9 o'clock. So I had a couple meals yesterday, which I recorded, and I did not have any output though since yesterday early morning, I believe. So I'm not too happy about that. I didn't have any by bedtime last night, and then I thought, well, the night before I had my output at like a little bit at 3 a.m. and then a bunch at 5 a.m. So this time I thought, all right, well, again, we'll sleep and see how it goes, and hopefully in the middle of the night I'll have something come out. And woke up by, I think it was by 7 a.m. My bag was full of gas, but I don't have any output. So I took care of that, but then the doctor just stopped in, and I took him. The other thing is too, when I woke up, that I had a little bit of pain. Actually, I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I had a little bit of the old gas pain that I had had. It's just a constant pain, and I'm like, oh, dear Lord, please no, let's get through this. And I fell back asleep, and by 4 when I woke up, it was gone, and my bag was filled with gas. So I emptied it down, so that was good. And then fell back asleep again, and then, like I said, I think 7, I was full of gas again. Took care of that, and I had another pain. I was rolling over in bed, and I had a different, more towards my hip, into like left. I was trying to figure out how do I describe this pain. I don't know, sharp pain. It was just the pain, and again, it was just there. It wasn't like cramp, kind of almost, but I'm like, please. So a little disappointed. Then I got up, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, washed my face, and all that. Came back, and then the doctor came in, and so I told him all that. But then by the time again I was up and moving, that pain went away. So he listened to my belly. He pressed on my belly. He said the bowel sounds good, and I don't have any pain with him pressing on there. So he's like, if you're good to go home, I'm good to let you go home. He goes, I'll contact the surgical team. So like my surgeon's colleague will be on call this weekend. I'll contact them and see what they have to say. But otherwise, he's like, you know your body, you know how it feels, you know what to look for. So I'm comfortable letting you go home. So hopefully, and then the nurse explained how they take out the PICC line is just that I have to be laying flat, and she'll take it out, put pressure on it for 5 minutes, put some type of a wrap on their special bandage, like a pressure bandage, and after lay it flat for half an hour. So that's how that will go. So right now I'm just waiting on my breakfast, see how that goes down, how many bites I'll be able to take. I'm going to take a walk. So I will see you again in a little, probably with food. That's right, I was going to film my breakfast. My view out there, it's pretty foggy again today. I'm grateful that I had a few days where it was nice and clear and I could see everything. But here we go. Today's breakfast was scrambled eggs, home-style potatoes, and a blueberry muffin. So I don't know about you, I like scrambled eggs that I make at home better than restaurant eggs. And the potatoes are okay. I thought they'd be a little softer. But anyways, so far so good. But the surgeon's, again, colleague came in, and told me, it's like, what do I think? It's, as far as they're concerned, everything looked good. The x-ray looked good. She said, again, the opening looked like it got larger, so it should all be good. You're not having any pains. Your stomach is soft. You're not, I think that was it. I was feeling good. Wasn't having any nausea. So as far as they were concerned, I could go home. She was like, you know your body, you know how it feels, you know what this felt like. So obviously you're having any pain, call in, come in. If anything else happens and, while you're home or you have any questions, I was always, call your surgeon, just call into the office and ask, and we'll go from there. So I was like, well, okay, then yeah, let's do it. I'll go home. So then the nurse takes out the PICC line. Again, it's very, very interesting of these, the knowledge that the nurses have, all these different procedures and all these different things. So she came in, when the discharge paperwork had kind of gone through, or the order had gone through, she came in, and so what she does was she just kind of pulled the PICC line out again. No cloth, no anything. I'm like, don't you need like a cloth or something? And she was like, no. She was, well, here, I could put something. I'm like, is it not going to bleed? And she was, well, I'm going to put pressure on it. She was, here, I'll put a little, paper towel under there if you want. I'm like, again, I'm sorry. I'm like, you guys know what you're doing. It's just, I got to give up the control. It's just the mom and me that I don't want to make a mess. And so she pulled it out. She said, for this one, I had to take a breath in, breathe out a little bit, and hold my breath. And so I was doing that. She pulled it out, and then she was pressing on the arm, just pressed at it, and then I was like, okay. And she was, she had laid me flat for this part too, so I was laid flat. And she was, do you want to see it, or do you get queasy and whatever? And so I kind of looked, and she held it up for me, and she was like, now again, I can't believe that it wasn't covered in blood. Something that's in my body, and you're pulling it out, and it's like clean as the day it went in type of thing. It's just, it blows my mind. As PICC line is tiny. Teeny, tiny little line. And then it had the 2 fobs on the outside that you could, put your IVs through and whatever. And there were 2 tubes in this teeny tiny little tube. There were 2 tubes I was like, holy smokers. Again, who comes up with that? Who invents that and that it works? Is to have something that tiny. And I was like, wow. So she held pressure for 5 minutes, and then, talking so much, I was pretty much clotted up, but she put a pressure bandage on, and I had to lay flat for half an hour. And after that, then it was like when I was good to go. So, all right, got dressed, and I was able to walk. I was fine, and again, I wasn't getting tired, even doing the laps in the hallway type stuff or whatever. So like, you want a wheelchair? I'm like, I can walk. So Wayne and I walked out, got ourselves home, and unpacked everything for about half an hour-ish or so. Then I kind of sat down. I'm surprised I didn't nap. Wayne could believe I didn't nap. He was tired. He was ready for a nap, but I'd actually slept pretty well that night. They didn't bother me at all because I didn't have any TPN. I didn't need any blood work. I didn't. So let me say, I could hear the door open once in a while. I could hear somebody come in, but I was still like half asleep, so my eyes were closed and whatever. But then they would leave. And so I did hear the nurse in the morning. She did do blood work, I think, at 5 a.m. And then she did say, she was like, yeah, I checked on you a couple times, but you were sleeping, so I left you alone. And I'm like, yay, thank you. So I had some pretty sleep. In fact, when the TPN tube came out, that was the best night's sleep I had. It was like, amazing what you can do when you don't have a tube down your throat. But I was comfortable enough that I slept. Yeah, and so with the night before, I was good. So I sat here, I just relaxed. I kind of hung out on the couch, or I think in the chair actually, but my daughter came home. I got to see her in person. I was so excited. So I gave her a big hug. And I just kind of hung out by her, and I did a little word search game on my phone. So just a relaxing night. And then slept in bed. It was funny because a couple times I was dreaming. It was kind of, halfway waking up from a dream, and I was dreaming I was in the hospital bed, and then I had that railing up there. Not that I used the railing really ever to pull myself, over or anything, but it was just, it was there. So in my dream, I had that there. It was like my head must have been at just the right level that I felt I was in the hospital. But that went okay. Arm just feels a little bit bruised. Pretty much felt bruised since they put even the PICC in. It just feels like a bruise. So that still feels like a bruise. It'll take a little while to heal. But that's okay. And then, I still had a little bit to eat. That night. Sunday, I had a few things to eat, and I still had no output. I had no output on Saturday at all. I had no output on Sunday, and I'm like, this isn't good. I don't care for this. I'm kind of worried. But again, then I said, I got to surrender to the universe. It is what it is. If I'm gonna have another blockage, I am. I know what I'm gonna have to go through. So be it. And and if this thing finally opens up and I get a big bag of output, then praise the Lord, thank God, that I will have everything working the way it should. So as of this morning, I actually finally had a little bit. I had enough to cover the bottom of the bag, and I'm like, okay, well, cool, because I was going to call the office this morning and say, hey, haven't had any output since Friday, 3 p.m. But I had some. And then as I was brushing my teeth and washing my face, I had more come out. So I was like, okay, yay, that's good. And then this afternoon here, as I've been sitting at the computer, editing videos and stuff like that, I had like a full bag come out. And I was like, yes. Emptied that, and within the hour I had another full bag. So I think I'm good to go. I'm clear, and it'll stay that way. Again, I'm having more of a normal life. I'm upright, I'm sitting at the computer, I'm walking, I'm still doing couple times a day. I'm doing 10 minutes worth of laps in the house, so I'm moving more. Usually, by the time if I eat something, then I'm trying to move. But again, I'm not just laying down. So I have more movement, so I think, again, everything should be good. It'll be all right. It'll be so yay. I got a phone survey today from the hospital that came through. I didn't answer, I didn't know what it was, but they also nicely texted it because you could do it on the phone. They ask you questions, and you got to hit the buttons of yes or no. And but on the phone, it was kind of like, were you just in the hospital? Do you feel, okay? Do you have any, were you sent home with any meds? Do you understand all your med instructions? Do you know what to do if you have any questions? All that kind of stuff. So it was nice. It kind of came through in a text, so I could do it that way. They said that's going to come through about once a week, I think for 5 weeks. So a little excessive, but there's that. While I was in the hospital, I also got a phone call through from scheduling saying that they want me to call back and schedule a procedure. I'm like, for what? So when one of the nurses stopped in, I asked her, I said, hey, I got this phone call. Can you look at my chart? Does it say any procedures that are being ordered for me or anything? And she looked and she said, well, I see this, you just had your appointment with your oncologist. She said, and I see this appointment coming up in February with this doctor. Is that you? I'm like, oh, it's my general physician. Yeah, she was, yeah, there's that appointment February 8th. And I'm like, yeah, that's new. Didn't know about that one. I'm like, so nice that they scheduled that for me. And then I was told that the hospital usually does that. If you're in the hospital, then they automatically schedule you an appointment with your general physician within 2 weeks because they want you to see your regular doctor for, I don't know, to update them. So fine, I'll have that appointment. The other thing is I had the floor supervisor stop in on Friday night, and been asking how my stay was, and everything kind of went okay. If there were any staff members that I would like to kind of shout out, if there was anything that they could do better. So that was nice. And I told her, I go, it's kind of funny because in reality I said just, a little while ago when I was talking to one of the nurse, she stepped in. She was working a different floor, or she was floated somewhere else, and then she finished up her shift on our floor. I told her, I'm like, well, that's really nice that you want to, continue your shift. You want to stay here and you work more hours. And she said, yeah, it's pretty nice that they're very good that way with other floors when they get kind of over-censused or whatever and stuff, that they have enough nurses that they can float around. And I said it was good that obviously the hospital is doing something right, that they want to, they're keeping you guys happy and keeping you around. And she said, yeah, in fact, our floor has the highest retention status. I'm like, that is great. That is so nice to know. I said, in fact, I heard the nurses laughing out in the hallway earlier and stuff, and I've heard that before. And I said, it's nice because you guys are having fun. You get, this is a stressful job, and to be able to do that and get some stress relief and keep you guys happy, so then you can be happy when you're seeing the patients. And it also makes it fun to come to work. If you like your coworkers, and she said, oh yeah, we got a really good group on this floor, so it's always nice. And I said, that was nice. I said, and the other thing, I was very impressed that nobody got upset with me with having that NG tube in and that I could only whisper. That everybody was like, this is the norm. This is, they just went about their, what they needed to do. That nobody got upset. So that was so awesome. So I told the supervisor that too. I said I was, very impressed, very grateful that, and then they were so excited for me when the NG tube came out. When the nurses came in and I could talk again, and they're like, you have a voice, you can talk. And I'm like, I know, right? I'm like, this is so great. I can drink now. So although that first sip of water wasn't as great as I expected it to be, and because the throat was still kind of hurting, it was okay. So, yeah, I said, as far as anything to do better, no, I said, not in that respect. I'm like, I have this other little kind of bone to pick. I said, I don't know if you have any say so in that or not. I said, but as far as scheduling, where I'll get an email, through the LiveWell app, and it says, pre-sign in, pre-check-in for your appointment. And I'm like, sure, cool. And I click on that, and it takes me to, the website, but it's just like my main page of name, address, whatever, like, is this okay? And you go through the pages. I'm like, what am I pre-checking in for? I'm like, I have 5 doctors at this point in time. What am I signing in for? And you don't know until you finish the whole thing, and you go back to scheduling page, and it takes you back to your main page, and you say, oh, well, that's what I just checked in for. I said, so again, HIPAA, whatever, but once they take you to your page, that's your page. And so it should have a little blurb up on the top, you're pre-checking in for this appointment with this person. It'd be helpful. I said, and the same when I had this phone call. I'm like, I get it. They don't want to say anything on just whoever's listening. So in scheduling calls and says, hey, call back and schedule this procedure. For what? What am I doing? So she said that. She was, yeah, that's a scheduling thing. She was, I get that. I understand what you're saying. She was, I get the same thing and all that. So she was, yeah, I'll mention that to them. So that's okay. other than that, I think that's it. I'm happy. I'm having output. So thank goodness for that. Hopefully I can just be home now for a while and keep moving on. If anything, the other thing is like my stomach. It was almost like a flip had switched. A switch had flipped. That even though I was feeling better, and even with like doing my little massaging on my stomach, my abdomen was sensitive. I didn't have any of that while in the hospital this last week. Like there was no thoughts of the stomach that way. What was going on? It was just the gas pain and throat pain. So that was interesting, and the walking, and that's what I thought too. Even like when we were doing some walking, I thought, well, I'm standing up straight. And as you see, I'm not hunched over. I'm not grabbing my belly. I don't have pain in the belly. The incision line is not scrunched. I mean, it's not so tight. That, like that part of me almost seemed like that's good. That's good to go now. That's healed. So that's good. So again, if this is all working well again now, that would be awesome, and I can just kind of, live life again and start making more memories and plan things and feel good. So that's my story. Let me know in the comments if you guys have had NG tubes before or not. I think I posted some stuff on my community page. I posted a picture, and I think a couple of you have said, yeah, they've had the NG tube. I posted on one of the community posts on Facebook, a colon page, and said, have any of you had any problems with mucus with the NG tube, and what did you do? How'd you solve it? And a couple people that answered said, nope, not a mucus problem, just pain. I'm like, okay. So I thought maybe it was just my body. Maybe it was just an allergic reaction. And a couple of nurses said, no, this is a thing that happens to patients. And I said, well, if you could invent something that would help take care of this, that would be awesome. She said, I'd be a millionaire. And I'm like, yeah, you would. Because I had asked about having an antihistamine at one point, and my surgeon was like, no, she didn't want a chance. She didn't think it would help, and she didn't want a chance then having bleeding through the nasal passages and stuff. And I thought, oh, okay, I get it. But then again, can we try? Can we at least please try? Give something. The floor doctor, and I mentioned this to him at whatever one point, because I had excused myself. Well, a lot of times, instead of even swallowing, what I took to doing was I had the little, kind of like the little toothpaste tray, spit bucket thing. I was just spitting up saliva all day long. Or I was taking, the little tissues from the tissue box, and I was spitting saliva, and I told him I had the garbage can right next to my bed. And I was throwing away tissues of saliva, of mucus. And, spitting. So I had to do that once when I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, so if I could find something that would help you, you'd be really happy, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I would. So he thought about the scopamine patch. I don't know what it's called. It's the little patch they put behind your ear. It's like it's like a little round Band-Aid. They usually do it before surgery, which helps with nausea. But he said it kind of dries you out too. So he put in an order on that, a question, and unfortunately, doctors didn't ever answer back. So, because I kind of thought, well, I was going to have surgery on Thursday anyways. What's the difference if you put this on me on Wednesday and if you put me on Thursday? So it wasn't that. So then one of my friends had also mentioned a different drug that they could try, different medicine. Didn't get as far as being able to try that one or telling them about that, but I got the tube out and I made it well. So let me know your experiences in the comments. In any case, I hope you are all doing well. I pray for all of you guys all the time too, and I appreciate all your prayers. So, you guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.